A very intense weather pattern is about to hit everybody, and it's not just this cold blast coming through, it's what's coming right behind it, because our tropics is about to wake up in about 8 to 10 days over here in the Atlantic, but it's going to wake up earlier over here in the Pacific, and this is going to bring a system that could potentially bring some rainfall, storms, even a lot of below average temperatures towards the western and southern U.S. in the form of rain, but it will be some cooler temperatures coming through, but it's going to bring some more flooding as well. But the Atlantic side is going to wake up in about 8 to 10 days. It's nothing soon. It's going to be 8 to 10 days before these tropical waves starts going towards the west and has a little area to breathe. Right now there's still dry air, there's a lot of dust going on, but for the most part we still have these cold fronts coming through that cheers up anything that comes close to the U.S. But at the same time, in 8 to 10 days, when this system moves towards the Lesser Antilles, starts heading towards that westward path, these cold fronts are going to be gone, and we're going to be looking at a higher ridge where they're going to go further towards the west. And you can see the new information this morning. It's going a little further towards the eastward shift on the cooler temperatures, but bringing a lot cooler air towards the Great Lakes, towards Ohio Valley as well. And it is coming towards the southern side of the U.S. Now, a lot of these cooler temperatures, below average temperatures, is coming towards the southern U.S. This will not be from this cold front. This will be from these storms coming around from the system in the Pacific. This also is going to bring some cooler temps towards the western U.S. as we go into a different weather pattern from the 10th of September. And you can see with your precipitation outlook that it is bringing a lot of above average precipitation still towards the western U.S. and a little bit towards the east coast. So you can see here on vorticity, you still have the cooler temperatures, but you get that big punch still as you're going through the third while you're already getting the cooler temperatures. Now this is bringing cooler temperatures, but a lot of strong wind chills for a few days as that moves out through the east-northeast, while we get a system in the Pacific that gets pulled around into the southern U.S. and the west coast, bringing a big area of chances for storms to hit, which will bring you below average temperatures as well, but it will bring you some rainfall also. And I know you need some rainfall towards the western U.S. But at the same time, while that cool front moves away, we're going to start getting these waves, a little northern, a little southern. Still time to figure this part out. This is still going 8 days now, 8 to 9 days. And they're going to start shooting off towards the west, very powerful off the MDR. Now this is where we could have something form up and go further towards the west. But first to the temperatures, you can see with your winds aloft that you do have a lot of winds coming with that all the way to Friday, all the way towards the southern U.S. while you get that system revolving around the Pacific into the U.S. Now these winds aloft is going to help bring a lot of cold wind chills with them. And showing different scenarios, everyone. So you can see with GFS, you have these below average temperatures moving through, but here comes that big punch as we come through for the third and the fourth. Now this right here is bringing anywhere from 15 to 25 degrees below average, especially in the Canada, getting up to 30 degrees below average, while that sits there for the whole weekend, the 5th and the 6th and the 7th. Then you see a big group of below average temperatures moving in from the southern to the western U.S. This is those thunderstorms that's coming in from the west coast, from the eastern Pacific, and over here towards Texas. This is coming from the system that's forming in the eastern Pacific, bringing you a big below average anomaly as well. Now this is going to shift around a little bit, so we still got time to pan this out. Right now we're already going right past 7 days already, but showing a big below average anomaly is coming through because of that. So this is what you're looking at on the west coast. You still have all these very hot temperatures all the way from the southwest, all the way towards northwest, all week, all the way until this weekend. Now, when this weekend comes in, this is where you get those storms, and it brings the below average temperatures all across the western U.S. Starts cooling you down really nice. Even your highs for the day, it starts milding down. You're still very warm across the southwest, but it does bring cooler temperatures all the way into the weekend. And into next week is where you start changing our weather pattern, where the trough of cool air comes towards the western U.S. Now for the central U.S., this is bringing some very cool temperatures with it as well. And you see all these 30s and 40s still coming through. But during the daytime, it's still going to be warm in the south all the way until the weekend, when you might get a little bit of this cool air, but it's mostly going to come in the form of those storms coming through for your below average temperatures. You can see this coming through for Friday, very warm in the south. Look at that, over 100 to 105 degree temperatures. And that's amazing right there. Look at this. You have 40s in the north, you have 100 and something degrees in the south. And as you come through for Saturday, it comes down again with those 40s. Went to Saturday into Sunday. This is where these storms starts moving through as we go through for the South Central, bringing those cooler temperatures across. So while everyone else is in these 30s and 40s and very cold wind chills, maybe even to the high 20s, you're going to be in the 70s, but it's going to be in the form of the storms coming through all the way till Monday and Tuesday when that moves further towards the east. And as you go from Wednesday into Thursday, the heat's going to slowly start coming back all over again. But the wind chills in the north as you go through for Thursday is bringing some cool wind chills. You might even feel like you're in the 20s. That's what that pink is representing, the 20s. While you come through for Thursday, as you go through for Friday, it comes through. Then Saturday, it comes down even deeper, bringing some 20s, 30s, and the 40s. And as you come through for Sunday, look at this. Sunday's bringing those cooler temperatures as well. Very cold wind chill is coming through with this blast. Now, it is going towards the east, but it's not going towards the coast so much. So as you go into Thursday, you have those cooler temperatures coming down towards Illinois, Indiana. As you go through for Friday, it starts spreading towards the northeast, interior northeast, a little bit of Tennessee and Kentucky, the higher elevations of North Carolina. As you go through for Friday, it comes down again. Saturday, it comes down again. But you see, during the day, you still have those warmer temperatures brewing through. Now, once you go from Sunday and Monday, this is where everything moves a little bit further towards the east. But for the southeast, you stay in this little warm bubble where you're not really feeling the cold front and you're not getting those below average temperatures from the storms neither. But the wind chills, not only bringing those 20 feels like temperatures and the 30s all across the upper Midwest and the North Central. Look at this as you go through for Friday and Saturday. It kind of calms down a little bit as it moves further towards the east. You still feel like you're in the high 30s to the 40s to the wind chills, but you see how it's still in the 40s towards the northeast. You're not feeling those 30s or 20 wind chills, but still it's bringing a very cold wind chill with that as well. So that comes all the way through for next Wednesday and Thursday. A big cold front coming through with a lot of wind chill. But this is where it's meeting up with the tropics as well. So not only what's in the Pacific, bringing the storms over towards the western U.S. and the southern U.S., bringing you those cooler temperatures, but it is bringing you the storms. When you look at your PNA, you see that cold front coming through from the central and eastern U.S., that positive PNA is going to leave once you get around the 8th or the 9th, and we're going to be dealing with a different weather pattern where it won't be so much of a trough that would fight off all of these systems in the Atlantic. So this right here would bring the cooler temperatures towards the western U.S. and the higher ridge towards the eastern U.S. Now, still showing this right here is still about 11 days away from this part, everyone. So we just need to watch this, keep updating this. These models are going to change as we get closer and closer. So we need to watch it. Once it gets past 7 days, it really gets out of whack. But you can see the pattern as that trough of cool air comes through. Then we start building this high pressure all into the Atlantic, where these tropical waves will go further towards the west. Now, if it gets a break in this high pressure where it gets a ridge coming through and then a trough that gives a little opening, it will go further towards the north. I will show you. Otherwise, it will go further towards the west. So we definitely need to watch this next pattern come through. Showing maybe in 14 days, a trough will come through and grab that. That is so far away to believe that. That could easily travel further to the west. If it's further to the south, it definitely will go further to the west. And that tut that I showed you will be gone by then. And this is right where we have a 40% chance of tropical activity to form up in the MDR that's going to go towards the west. If you remember my last forecast, I told you we're going to have this expanding high pressure in the Atlantic, and it's going to help these storms go further towards the west. Now, whether it turns early or late, all depends on the weather pattern, and we're still too far far away to know exactly what that's going to be, but I'm showing that we're going to have battles like this all for the rest of September. Showing with that front coming through, still going to bring some convection, still going to bring some storms towards southern Florida for the heaviest rainfall, through northern Bahamas still. Anything forms, it will go out through the northern Atlantic. No threat to anyone, so I'm not expecting anything from that. But you can see literally as you go 6 to 7 days, then you start seeing a chance for that wave to go further towards the west. So now we're already looking at 10 days where this wave will be right here going further towards the west or maybe towards that northwest. Once again, it's just too far away to know exactly what this pattern is going to be like in 10 days. Showing as we go into increments. In 7 days, showing it's going to start coming off the MDR and going western MDR by the time we reach 10 days. Showing it could start making that northward push or that westward push in 10 days. Latest update shows it will go a little bit further on that westward push. So it will go more to the west or the northwest after that. Seeing two different weather patterns at the moment, and this is right at 9 days, everybody. So this is why I say it's already too far to give you an accurate forecast, but you can see this tropical wave meeting the Lesser Antilles by then. Now, when you look with GFS, because this is the Euro, you can see how it's a little bit different of a scenario. Your system is further towards the north, and you have that break in that ridge right there, and that would pull that to the north. When you go by the European, it don't see that break in that ridge, and that would allow the system to go further towards the west. So we definitely got to watch this. When you go by the GFS, it's seeing the break in the ridge, and that would pull it further towards the north. Latest on ensembles shows once you go about 9 days that this is where it could possibly form up in the western MDR, meeting the Lesser Antilles. It could be a little bit further north and curve, or it could be like this group down here is showing it could be a little bit further towards the southern side and see a repeat of what we just had with Aaron potentially. Maybe even coming closer towards the coast. So we definitely got to watch this next transition. I'm showing all of September into October is going to be just like this. Our latest on the outlook, so you can see this with their experimental model showing more than likely where this wave will be, where the other ensembles is seeing it. When you go by Weather Next Generation, it's seeing the same thing, a little bit of a northward tilt, which don't let that fool you. A lot of these do these little waves like this. So the northward tilt don't mean anything this far away. When you go by the Euro ensembles, it's seeing that go right towards that west and start kicking a little bit of that west-northwest. You have multiple options here. It's picking this line right here, more likely outcome going to that west-northwest, but it could be on these southern ones as well. And if you look over here on intensity, this can be anywhere from a tropical storm towards a high-end major hurricane. So we definitely need to watch it. The water's unbelievable. When you go by Euro high resolution, that is the path it is seeing more than likely outcome right now. Then we start going towards that 10-day marker, already a Cat 1 hurricane. Showing in 7 days on the latest outlook, here's our tropical wave, a big moisture pocket envelope. As that moves further towards the west, you can see it gets directed by the high pressure, starts strengthening up, starts becoming literally a strong storm right there. Now it's ingesting dry air. You can even see it going towards the core right there. So we do need to watch it. If it keeps it weak, it will push it further towards that west. But you see how that tracks all the way towards 11 days, almost 12 days, sitting right over here on the Atlantic, and that could easily go to the west. It could go to the east. We just don't know yet. Right now, in the latest run, it pulls it out to the north and does a little stall. So we got to watch it because this one's going to come in hot and get steered by all the high pressure. Not to mention very warm waters for this tropical wave to tap into and start intensifying everybody. Remember, we're going to a new pattern as it reaches the Lesser Antilles. So we still don't know what the outcome is going to be. There's multiple possibilities. But as far as the temperatures, we don't have to worry about that. The temperatures are there. Look at your deep ocean heat content. The temperatures are very much there. And still showing once we go from the middle of September and on, we're going to be fighting battles just like this. It's going to have pockets of favorable environment with some dry air in there as well, unfavorable pockets. You can see this going all the way into October. This is a pattern we normally see when we go into September and October. And that is your weather forecast, everyone. So thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a very great day out there. Tell me what you think down below. What is this transition going to do to our tropics with this cold blast? Now, tomorrow is Labor Day, and happy Labor Day to everybody out there. And I've never had Labor Day off my whole life. Pretty much because I was busy laboring. I always had second and third jobs. You know how it is when you take care of your family. You do what you have to do. So for once, my wife said it's okay for me to take off for tomorrow, and I'm going to take off for Labor Day and enjoy labor. After all, it is a gift from God, everybody. And before I go, a quick word from our Father, everybody. Ecclesiastes 3:10 through 13. I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. Amen. So have a great day, everybody. Get ready for this crazy weather pattern we're about to go into. I will keep you updated on the tropics. We're still 9 or 10 days from that transition, but it looks like it's going to be a strong one all through the rest of the month. So thank you so much for your help. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And remember, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great weekend. Happy Labor Day.